In the previous video, we have done our blocking, and now I want to show you 3 techniques in Krita to do it as easily as possible. First of all, we are going to break down how to create the silhouettes for our shapes. The base trick is to pick a sharp brush. I'm using a fixed size round brush here, and to draw some outline, grab the fill tool, fill it, and then you can erase a bit on the outside to clean up the shape. Once you do that, you can use the alpha lock mode and then paint inside of it with a different color. And that is why this method, creating the shapes before you start adding the shading, is so useful. Let me break it down for you now. First of all, if you want to draw good round lines with a tablet, I really recommend you to not zoom in too much, because otherwise you're going to have to break down your strokes into too many lines and you'll get small artifacts like these all the time. So stay zoomed out, not too far, but not too far in either. And then try to draw confident lines from the elbow. And if the lines are very small, like round corners, then you can draw them a bit with the wrist. Learning to draw confident lines like these will allow you to work faster over time. I'm going to lower the opacity of the final potion, and we are going to try to make the cork again. You'll see that I'm not matching the outline perfectly, far from that. I have to erase a bit at the end. But I'm going to show you a trick that I use all the time that allows you to sculpt the shape. Launch the free transform tool with Ctrl-T, and then in the tool options panel, click on the water droplet, which will change it to the Liquify mode. Liquify is a tool that allows you to sculpt your shape with a brush. So you can use it to push and pull your stroke around. Now, I've changed the default parameters a bit. I've activated pen pressure on both the size and the amount parameter, and I've lowered the amount and the spacing to 0.05 in both cases, just so that I get that really real-time feedback. It's pretty fluid. And then I can sculpt my shape the way I want it to be. You can press Enter to validate your change and see exactly how the Liquify tool will modify your stroke. Wherever you find bumps, you can just click again, and Krita will load your saved transform, and then you can refine your shape. Press Enter again to see a full preview of your transform, and I do want to round out this corner here. So I'm going to lower the size of my brush and really softly, gently brush it in to give it that much more rounded feel. Okay, you can press Enter, and now the stroke feels satisfying. If you switch to another tool, you will validate your transform and you won't be able to change it again. So when you validate a transform like that, you will actually lose some pixel information. Because of that, it's very important to work with a very large document. Here, my potion is 2000 by 2000 pixels big. In general, in games, we work at 2 times the final asset resolution. Here, in an HD game, this means that this potion could be at most 1000 by 1000 pixels big. So then, I'm going to fire up the fill tool, and I have limit to current layer on, fill entire selection and fast mode off, and a little bit of grow selection. Just make sure that alpha lock is off, and the erase mode is off, and you click inside of your shape, and you're going to get your fill. Now, look at the difference if I don't activate the grow selection parameter. I click in here, and if you zoom in, you'll find some aliased, pretty ugly fill. So you want to have this parameter set to 1, 2, or 3 pixels, depending on your document's resolution. Here, for instance, 3 pixels is too much, but 2 pixels gives us a nice result. The second way to create a clean fill is to directly paint it. So for that, you can use larger brushes. In the set, you have the ink brush, you also have the fill flat directional, and the shape painting tool. I'm going to use the ink brush, and I'll show you how I have filled the rope. So when you have something pretty round like that, pick a round brush and just brush in, and then same thing, fire up the Liquify tool and shape your stroke a bit more. This works especially well for everything that's small and round, but this is also very useful whenever you are using that method for your thumbnailing process to paint appealing silhouettes. And you can then reuse those silhouettes and refine them a bit to get your blocked in shapes. So here, for instance, I'm using a different brush to create a fill for a different part of the potion. I'm making it dark so it's visible on top of the original one. And now, again, I'm going to fire up the Liquify tool and clean up the shape. So right now we have a pretty precise shape as a reference, but when you are working with your original thumbnails, you actually use that tool to decide on how the final shape will look like. And there you go. You get different shapes like these pretty fast. Using the shape tool, you can also draw clean outlines pretty fast. I have one extra tip regarding the Liquify tool. As with any transform in Krita, it actually works on groups as well. So if you group all of your assets layers together, you can press Ctrl-T, go to the Liquify tool, and then modify something. Let's say that I want to make the potion less wide, a bit shorter on the sides, and then I'll press Enter. Krita will recursively apply the transform to all of the layers contained in the group. So you can use that even to fine-tune the shape of your drawing and really benefit from that large document that we have with lots of pixel information to make transforms to your heart's content. Press Enter, and I've fixed that little bump on the side of my potion. And the last set of tricks I want to mention is a few ways for you to spot your mistakes or inconsistencies in your design, especially a lack of balance. You can press the M key to mirror your shape around. That way you will see instantly if your potion is not straight. Here, for instance, it seems slightly skewed to the right, so we can fire up the transform tool and skew it back like that, and then fix its overall shape. Another way to check if your design is straight is to use the grid and guide. So I will show the rulers and then grab a guide and place it on top of my potion. This gives us a reference line to really see if our design is working. Next, you can zoom out on your piece and squint your eyes. By squinting, the image will look a bit more blurry, and this will allow you to better see if the outline of your potion is consistent. You can also rotate the canvas to change your perspective on your piece. And then press 5 and 2 to reset the rotation and the zoom level. Last trick. In Krita, you have layer styles. I'm going to enable it. I've enabled color overlay, set it to the normal blending mode with a black color. Press OK, and then you can toggle it on and off in the layers hierarchy. When you enable it, this will turn your layer into its silhouette. You can use that silhouette to see if your design is balanced or not. That's our 3 tricks for blocking, and now we're going to move on to refining.